Hello, my fellow crest-wearing companions, and welcome back to another episode of Extra Time, the U.S. Men's National Team Soccer Podcast. I'm Tim, and today we are going to be previewing the upcoming United States versus Senegal friendly that is happening later today with kickoff at 3:30 in Charlotte, North Carolina. We're going to talk about what we expect in the friendly. We're going to talk about the breakdown of it, kind of, our opinion, what we think is going to happen. The biggest piece is, does this friendly matter? Right? What is a meaningful result going to be from this friendly? If we lose, is it hurting us? Are we looking to get momentum? Can this friendly even give us momentum going into this upcoming World Cup, which is happening in a pretty short window of time? Within the next 2 weeks, we are going to be kicking things off here in the United States at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. So we're going to break down this friendly coming up against the Senegalese national team. All that's coming up. Let's get into it. All right, so the first thing that we think about when we think about these friendlies is, do we need to get results? And if we do need to get results, what does a meaningful result look like? All over the internet right now, since the roster has dropped, everybody is making speculations on these two friendlies, saying, anything from the United States has got to get results to they have to be thrashings to you got to get your goal scores in. We've seen, we got to use these games to get Pulisic back in the goal scoring trend. We've seen, we got to get results to carry it so we have momentum going into the group stage because others will get grouped, and everything in between. My take for these two friendlies, surprising very few of you, is a pretty hot take, which is they're friendlies. It's about fitness and health, and neither one of them matters. I don't think any of the players on this roster are really concerned with the results of these games because they know that in just 2 weeks, the most meaningful games they're going to be playing are happening, and the last thing that they want to do is try to get a tune-up and then wind up getting injured in a manner that keeps them out of the World Cup. The same thing is true for Senegal's side. The same thing is true from Germany's side. None of these teams are showing up to these matches to do anything other than a media stunt to get the players out there, to kind of get them working the ball around. They're hopefully going to be pretty boring games. They're not going to be that exciting. There might be goals scored due to a lack of really stuck-in defense just because players don't want to get hurt. But I can't imagine that any of the players in these games are going to be going full tilt because if you win, you don't get anything. And if you get injured, you lose everything. So there's just about nothing to gain from any of these matches as far as a result is concerned. And there's everything to lose from these from the matches and for the players. So if I'm Pochettino, I'm not putting Christian Pulisic out there for 90 minutes and risking him getting hurt. I'm thinking about playing my backups. I'm thinking about playing the bench guys. So what is it first that you could gain from these matches that would be worth going and showcasing? The first thing that you would stand to gain is this is now your roster. These players are now in camp together. They're training together in and out. We need to get that culture. We need to get that consistency. We need to get the unity, right? So we're going to put a set of 11 players on the field that need that little bit of extra to get used to playing with one another. Okay, so I'm thinking about, when I look at my 26-man roster, who are the players that are realistically going to come off the bench? Who are the players that need to learn certain things, right? Maybe I got players in camp that got a lot of jitters. And I'm like, I know you're going to be coming off the bench. I know I'm going to need you in meaningful moments. I got to get those jitters out right now. Those are the players that are going to be on the field. I would expect to see players coming off the bench who might be starters, and players starting who might be coming off of the bench. If I'm Pochettino, I guess I have two options. The first option is I'm going to spend the first, I'm assuming they're going to do the 11 subs again, right? This is just going to be a kind of sub at will thing. I understand that the United States Soccer Federation probably has some deal with the media and the fans buying tickets. Some of these players are going to have to be there. So I'm definitely going to be starting my starting 11 who I believe are the starting 11 for the World Cup. So I would have to believe that the 11 players that are going to step out onto the field are the 11 players that we're going to see in that kickoff match against Paraguay. 30, 35 minutes, I'm starting to sub guys off. You got a chance to watch your players. They got a chance to knock the ball around. They got a chance to work on some things. I got another match against Germany in six days. I'm not doing this. That doesn't mean that you won't see players play through halftime. That doesn't mean you might not see players start coming off in the 60th minute. But I would have to believe that by the 60th minute, at the absolute latest, the entire starting lineup is off the field. And that's not just for us. I would also have to believe the same thing is going to be true for Senegal. Because neither one of these teams stands to gain anything by winning. Let's say, for people who are pushing back, let's say the United States goes out there and we beat Senegal 5-0. What did we learn? We learned that we're better than Senegal? I mean, did we? Would we be better than Senegal? What evidence do you have that Senegal would have been playing their A squad at World Cup effort? What evidence would you have that we would be playing at World Cup effort? We don't need to shoot our shot right now. These are not the games that we need to win. These are the games that we need to build the consistency, build the unity, start to understand our tactics, get a realistic, firm, clear idea on what we plan to do. Not experiment with stuff, not go in and all of a sudden we're playing, like whatever formation we go out there with, it better be the same formation we go out against Germany, and it better be the same when we go out against Paraguay. This isn't going to be like all of a sudden we're trying to back four again, but then in Germany it's a back three, and we just no, it can't be that. There has to be that kind of consistency, because what kind of consistent message are you saying to the players if you're still tuning things up in a big way? We need to be tuning things up in a small way. So if we look at the U.S. men's roster and we think about the guys that might be playing, right? The second option to this would be you're just going to start a starting 11 that are your bench players, right? We already know Richards isn't going to play. He's probably not going to play in either one of these games. Why should he? He still has an injury. He's still trying to recover. We need him fresh for the group stage game, right? And even if he can't start in the group stage game, we definitely need him for the knockout round. So Richards already has almost a month before he really has to do anything meaningful, and that's kind of where we have to be. So you might see the likes of a Trusty in the back. You might see the likes of Miles Robinson in the back, right? Maybe you see Ream back there. I wouldn't be surprised if, you saw Pepe playing up front. You saw Reyna get some playing time. You saw Scally get some playing time. Maybe Arvston get some playing time. Berhalter starting in the midfield, right? Because you're trying to find the backup to Tyler Adams in that space. I don't know why I said, oh no, yeah, Trusty's up there. I was I'm looking for his name, and I was I can't see it. So those are the things that I'm thinking about when it comes to getting a meaningful result, right? Look at Senegal's squad. Senegal has really high-quality players on it. We got guys playing overseas, players that were, literally just walking out of the Champions League final, players that were fighting against relegation. These guys are going to be knocked up. These guys are going to be banged up, right? And Senegal's not, these players are here now. They're in the United States. They're reaching their training camps. They're not going back. They're not flying back and come back over. There's a really good chance that they're here now, and they're going to be riding out through the World Cup. Senegal's using this match to get acclimated to the environment, to get acclimated to the temperature, to get acclimated to the culture, to have the players, time zones, all those things. And they're still starting to get that unity. It's getting the kinks out, getting the rust out, getting the players back together, kind of knocking the ball around. That's what success is going to look like. So success for both teams doesn't look like a result. If these games played to really boring 0-0, 1-1, 2-2 draws, 2-2 might not be boring, but 0-0, 1-1 might be a pretty boring result. That's what I'm looking for. For everybody who's going, well, if the United States loses these two games, we're absolutely getting grouped because the boys are going to come in with no confidence. Again, these are professional athletes who have a coach telling them the objective, right? I've coached players. I've coached athletes through track and field. And the strangest part about track and field is that none of the meets during the season really matter. It doesn't matter if you win. It doesn't matter if you lose. What matters is staying fit, progressively getting better, peaking at the right time, not getting injured. And I had a men's team who finished dead last in every single meet that we ever competed in. And then as we were getting off the bus for the championship meet, I told everybody, like, this is what we've been training for. It's game time. Everybody's in their best event. Everybody has the most amount of rest. Like, we peaked. This is why practice has been chill. This is why we've been having fun. We're going to go for it. We tied for second place and would have been second place outright if one of our athletes didn't break their nose in warm-up. That's what this is about. These players know this. They're not walking out going, oh my gosh, we lost to Portugal and we lost to Belgium. Oh my gosh, and we lost to Senegal. Oh my gosh, and we lost to Germany. Oh my gosh, we can't beat any top-ranked teams. We're duds. We're never going to make it that far in the World Cup. No, this is the first time you have a coach who's looking at you and saying, we have a chance to win the World Cup. Brendan Aronson just got on a thing and said we could win the whole thing. Think back to one of everybody's favorite coaches. Might have been one of your favorite coaches, Jurgen Klinsmann. When he coached at that World Cup, he literally told the American media, you guys got to get it out of your head. Winning is not an option. We're not good enough yet. Can you imagine playing on a team where your coach is going, guys, like, we're just here to play, man. You guys aren't going to win this thing. Oh, well, then why are we here? It's one thing to understand you're a real long shot. And if you were going to bet $1 million on it, you might not be betting $1 million on yourself. I get that. That's way different from somebody saying, guys, we're just not going to win. Like, what are we doing here? So for the United States men, we now are in a position. Is winning still a long shot? Of course. Is it anywhere near as much of a long shot as it used to be? No. It's less of a long shot than Senegal's team, and Senegal's got a good team. We have a difficult road. There are going to be other teams that when they win their knockout game and they go to the round of 16, they're not going to be up against a Belgium. They might have a slightly softer squad. We got our, but remember the Belgium game. We struck first in the 39th minute. They had a nice shot to level it. Matt Turner got kind of frozen. Maybe could have had it, maybe couldn't have. 30 seconds more, and we get out of halftime up 1-0 against Belgium, out of Belgium, and the entire narrative has changed. And I mentioned this in previous episodes. The entire United States media, if we get out of that, I'm telling you, 30 more seconds, and every single person talking about that Belgium game says the United States has a chance to win the whole thing. Because they outplayed Belgium, they scored against Belgium, they're leading Belgium at halftime, and we knew that in the second half, all the MLS players were coming in, all the subs were happening for both teams. Would you still have the haters that were saying, yeah, Belgium didn't play their A squad? Yeah, right? That's what we're trying to do. So if I'm Pochettino and I'm committed to playing starters for the media or for just getting the rust out, getting the kinks out, starters are playing as much of the first half as I can tolerate. I'm thinking about fitness. I'm thinking about injury. I'm thinking about, especially for Tyler Adams, load management. Because the man's going to be playing every single match, every single game. So I wouldn't be surprised if Tyler Adams came out at halftime against Germany or didn't even, or against Senegal, or didn't even play against Senegal. I would expect even less players to play against Germany. Germany's 6 days out. I would expect less players for Germany to play. I can imagine for Senegal, it's the same thing. From a results stance, other meaningful things that you could look for. Yes, guys scoring goals. While I would be excited for Pulisic to score and get out of his whatever drought, I'm much more concerned with Balogun scoring. If Balogun nets a goal in the first half, even if it's like kind of a joke and the teams are kind of like, it's still building confidence. It's still putting the ball in the back of the net. It's like kind of like going, it's the thing you knew you could do. And sometimes it's almost like worse for your mental game if you can't do it in matches where like it's pretty obvious. And I'm not saying obvious because Senegal's an obvious team. I'm saying if it's really much let's just not get hurt, let's just kind of like lay back and like play some light defense and let guys take some chances, you really got to get one. So players putting up results is going to be a big deal. Connecting passes. right? Showing up, being in the right spot. The players feeling good and feeling successful about their performance on the field. That's what we're looking for. Out of the two spaces that I think the United States might have some wiggle room when I'm looking at the starting lineup, okay, things that I'm eyeing. In the midfield, is it going to be McKinney, Adams, Tillman? Is Reyna coming on as a sub? Is Reyna going to start today? Right? I don't know if either one of those situations really gives me a definitive answer, because if Reyna starts, you could just be going, I need to get you some playing time under your legs before. And if Tillman starts, you could make the argument that, like, this is the starter. This is the starting lineup. This is what we're doing. Going across the back, who's the person that's filling in for Richards? Are we going to try to give Robinson some time? Is it going to be a Trusty? Is it going to be a Freeman? And I'm looking at formation. What does our formation look like? I wouldn't be surprised if the goalkeeper split time, right? Again, I wouldn't be surprised, but I wouldn't do that if I was Pochettino. The person that I'd picked is the person who's playing. So if Matt Freese is my goalie, Freese is starting both games. I don't care what the results are. Like, I really don't. Now, I might sub him and give Turner playing time in the second half, just because I want to, again, load management, give him a break. I don't want guys to get hurt, right? I wouldn't be surprised if Freese started both games, Turner came on in the second half of one game, and then Chris Brady came on, right? Just to get him some, like, hey, you're here, right? Who's our player out on the wing? Are we playing Awea out there, or is that going to be Tillman's spot, and then we're going to allow Dest to overlap? Right? So we do have a couple questions that could get answered in this, which I am excited about seeing. But I think overall, if you're Pochettino and you're the U.S. men's national team, the very first priority is nobody can get hurt. And so if you're looking at the United States has to get a win, that's just not a realistic reflection or prediction, or it's just not realistic, because that's implying that that's what you're going for, right? Well, we got to get a result. We got to win. But that's not the top priority. The top priority is no one can get hurt. We got to stay fit. We got to stay healthy. So it would make sense to then next is a result. But I don't think result is a win. I think result is getting players in the positions they want to do, knocking the ball around, getting the feel for that movement, getting a chance to play together, and having them with that very first moment. Today's the day. You are the 11. You guys get to figure it out. Let's see who communicates. Let's see who steps up. Let's see who talks about it. That's going to be the win for today. Because I promise you, Germany 6 days out, I can't believe tickets are $400 to $600 for that game. Nothing is going to happen. You're there to see guys step on the field, to see the big name players. I would be shocked if there was any kind of energy in those games. Now, one of the mistakes that I think the United States can fall victim to that other countries don't as often, we tend to play sometimes with too much of a chip on our shoulder. And I could see in these friendlies, we go full tilt. And we run the risk of getting hurt because we're American, it's what we do. And we run the score up, right? And we beat Senegal 2-3-0. We beat Germany 2-0. And Senegal and Germany are very much like, nope, we're just going to kind of play relaxed. We're not really concerned with this. We just don't want to get hurt. And maybe it benefits us because maybe nobody gets hurt and nobody gets overworked and guys coming off the bench score some goals and we go in carrying a lot of momentum. I'm not making the argument to play overly conservative and completely ruin everybody and basically say, guys, what are we doing? Why are we here? Like these games don't matter. If I'm the coach, I am prioritizing in a way that the things that we're looking for subconsciously don't put players at risk of getting injured, right? I want my midfield to figure out that possession. I want to work on building from the back through those guys in the midfield, right? I'm not worried about getting stuck in on challenges, right? If I'm focusing on attacking today and distributing the ball while I attack, and that's my priority, notice how I'm not communicating to the players that we can't let anything pass us. We got to get stuck in. We got to win some chances, right? I want to see the way that we attack. I want to see the way that we move up. I want to navigate that position. And I want my players in a spot where I'm going to start pulling some key guys off the bench and seeing how they integrate with this. And the other guys that are sitting there, the other, 19, 18 guys, it's too many. 12, 13 guys, right? You're just here. Watch, learn, support your players, support the guys. The 11 that are on the field, 4 or 5 subs that I think realistically might have a chance at playing. Everybody else, you're riding it out. You are here for the support. You're here to be a teammate. You're here in dire emergency situations, right? But that's what it's going to be for, right? That's why we're going to be here. Those are my thoughts for the United States-Senegal game. If I had to put a result on this, I would imagine that it's going to be pretty low. I think a 2-2 draw at the most, right? At the most, I'm thinking more realistically like a 1-0 United States win or a 2-1 United States win, but I'm not necessarily concerned with that. I'm more concerned with what do we look like, right? So my big things I'm looking for, what's our formation? Who's our starting goalie? I think those two things are huge, and I think that's what most of the conversation is going to be after the game is, yes, we're going to talk about the result, but I think everybody, every content creator, every media outlet is going to very quickly position to things that we learned, and it's going to be, if we're playing this formation, that means that I want to see it again in Germany. If we're playing this goalie, it means I want to see it again in Germany. If we're playing these players, it means I want to see it again in Germany. So now we're looking for Pochettino to say, these are the players I picked. Now I'm here to show you why I picked them and what I plan to do with them. Because the rumors are that Pochettino's not sticking around after the World Cup. He's not opposed to it. But I could imagine that after this World Cup, unless we get something crazy, right, which we could, you play a Spain in a semifinal, and you maybe only lose 1-0 in a tight game where you had some chances, the U.S. Federation might be reaching out to Pochettino and saying, hey, let's run this thing back. But those are the things that I'm looking for in this matchup, in this game. That game is kicking off at 3:30 today in Charlotte, North Carolina. We are going to bring you a follow-up on our reactions, and we're going to see what I got right from this preview after. What are the things that you think are going to happen? What are your 3 priorities? What are your 3 takeaways that have to happen in this game? What are things we're hoping you think you learn? Like, comment, subscribe. Love to interact with you guys. I'm trying to get active in the space with some more of the other content creators, so hopefully get some collabs going in the future. Really appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm going to catch you guys after the game. Let's go, boys.